Okay.
We don't have a clapperboard. We have to do that.
Oh, I see. Nice. What is a clapperboard?
A clapperboard. So you've got. So if you're on a film studio.
Oh,
or
okay.
film,
Sorry.
or anything.
Sorry.
I say that as if I've been there.
Oh, God.
Hey, no.
You've only seen it in the outtakes of Liar Liar, mate.
They're always the best, the bloopers. Anyway, this is episode
8.
Episode 8.
If we counted it correctly. So we've got Ross with us. Welcome, mate.
Ross McGrane.
Thanks for having me,
Nice to have you.
It's all right. How are
Cheers.
you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw each other the other night, didn't we?
We did, yeah. I bumped into you outside a watering hole in Southend. And
I just dribbled.
I'll say Southend, it was in Lee, but I don't want to give him more credit than it's due. It was the Elms, right? Which is a Weatherspoons.
A fantastic choice.
Yeah.
I was there.
Was you
I
there?
just wasn't like there.
Oh,
but I
right,
was
yeah.
there.
Well, I took my glasses are broken at the moment, and I haven't pulled my finger out to get new ones. And I sort of like appeared at him, and he just looked like, "Who is this weirdo
man?"
Jesus!
No. Oh, you've got one. You've literally got one.
I'm rocking now. I'll give you the lowdown with the glasses, right? Yeah. So I've got a 3-year-old daughter. She's a bit of a prick. No, I'm joking. She broke the arm off of it as 3-year-olds do, and there's not enough lip. I don't know if you can see that there to get the Jack Duckworth tape round it. Yeah. So I've just been wearing them like this until I can go. I need to get a new eye test anyway, but. It works, and I'll tell you what. You wear glasses.
Yeah.
The only thing that bothers me wearing glasses is when I want to lay down, watch a little film.
Oh, it's outrageous.
Yeah,
it's so annoying.
True.
Not for me anymore, mate. I'm bringing these out as a brand. Just lay down and watch Netflix glasses.
What we need to work out now is how to do it with no arms.
Oh,
So
God,
you've got to
yeah.
figure that out.
What was it? Morpheus had the sunglasses clipped to his nose.
Monocles as well. That's a thing. I actually asked for monocles and Specsavers because it was one eye's weaker than the other.
Two?
No, one of my eyes is buggered. The other's it's still not great, but it's worse than the other. So I went, well, can I just get a monocle for that one when I'm driving around?
Monocle?
And they just went, no.
Well, you'd actually wear a monocle.
Why not? I'll be that guy.
It looked like the bastard son of Zordon out and thinking, Games Master, wasn't it? Okay, so Patrick Stewart.
Fucking hell, that's embarrassing, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
I'd look great with the monocle. Could be awesome. Yeah. So, Ross, I realise we haven't really sort of introduced you properly. So,
yes.
Ross, you're a very, very funny comedian. We worked together, didn't we?
We did.
We did. If you call it work.
In my first ever panto.
Yes.
Was it really?
It's first. I do stand-up comedy primarily. I've been gigging for 6 years. Been in the industry for 15, more than that now, 16.
Yeah.
And I like dabbled in a bit of acting like years ago. Went to Southend Drama Society and did a couple of like friends and family things there. But April last year, which would have been 2018, I quit my day job to do comedy full time.
Cool.
So I thought I'm gonna have to do something else, because like comedy's great and that, but Christ, it's hard to pay the bill. Yeah. No, I just sort of said to myself, if I'm gonna do performance full time, then I want to get some more strings to my bow and sort of test myself a little bit, really, at the expense of a few hundred people every night. But it was great. I had a right laugh. It was a lot of work, a lot more than what I'm used to. As a comedian, I'm used to like turning up to a gig, 20 minutes out, drive home. And Barbara Streisand.
I'd imagine with doing comedy as well, like obviously it's a bit more free roaming, isn't it? Like if you forget your next bit, you can kind of segue into it in a different way. Whereas in like if you're doing,
no, we definitely tried to do that.
Yeah, there was
we definitely forgot things.
Although in fairness, probably the best bit of, because I obviously came to see it, the best bit I remember of you is you came on stage and your line was to do with a map that you were on, and you didn't bring it with you. So you were like, it says something on this map that I've left off stage, and then someone just handed it to you.
Oh, I'll tell you something about that map. On the first night, my mate, the director and who played Smee, I'd made this map, like got old school Blue Peter, some tea and a little tray, like made it look all distressed.
Rip the corners off, proper. Set fire to it,
and then draw a massive cock of balls on it, like just jizzing onto the X. So. Like, right, Smee, what does this X mean on here?
It means I'm confused, Captain.
Was that the one you used on stage as well?
Yeah, it
so
was,
every time you brought that out, that's what you were looking at?
Well, yeah, the first time.
That's
When I remember to
phenomenal.
bring it out. But yeah.
It was a rare gag that only happened occasionally.
That's phenomenal.
Going back to what you're saying though, that was a good point actually. One of the hardest things I found was keeping to a script. I think like the jokes in it. I think, which is it's weird, and it's probably just me, but I just felt weird telling a joke that weren't mine.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
preset. Yeah.
See, that's interesting because I've only ever done that really.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I mean, from being an actor's perspective, that's all I'm used very comfortable to going. That's my lines. Nail the timing and that and that.
Yeah.
But you, like you say, if it's your joke, that's what you're used to.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an element of egotism involved, though. You know, because I read the script and I read the joke and I'm like, that could be better than that, and then I like be up awake all night just trying to think of a better. I mean, some of them were horrendous though, weren't they? There was one in there that was.
Wasn't it James who wrote them?
I can't. There was about 5 people that wrote and rewrote and re-edited this script, but like it was. There was a bit in it where Smee was obviously banters and does jokes with the audience while Hook's being very serious and straight laced, and he says, "Here, Hook. One more thing.
I know this fucking one.
If Peter Pan had a brother, would he be called Deep Pan?" That doesn't even make sense, does it?
No, but I
Think
somehow
about it.
laughed.
That doesn't even make sense.
No. Peter, no.
If we're on a boat, if we threw Peter Pan into the Thames, would he be Deep Pan? Yeah, because he's deep. You know what I mean?
That's funnier. Yeah,
It just makes sense. You know what I mean? But the funny
topical as well, because we talk about throwing people in the Thames on this podcast quite a bit. How much money would you have to be paid to jump off Thames Bridge into the Thames?
Thames, okay. What time of day?
Well, you're just kind of on your way to work, and then a genie pops up with a cash bag, and he's like, "How much?" And you just got to throw yourself in the Thames.
Just fit in whatever I'm wearing.
Yeah.
From the top of the
with your laptop with you or whatever.
From top of London Bridge.
Not like one of the towers.
Just as a pedestrian
just off
walking
the
across
thing,
the bridge. Yeah.
Oh, that's a difficult one. See, I'm quite cheap, mate. You know what I mean? I just want a few little things in life. So I'd usually do most things. People say $1 million. I'm like, chuck me like 50 grand and I'm there. But that you could seriously hurt yourself. It's not just a little dip.
The worst thing, is it's the diseases that everyone was saying. It's like you will get very ill.
Do you reckon?
Well, apparently.
Yeah, see, I was confused by this, and people were like, "You would die."
Yeah, Joel got very aggressive. He was like, "You die. What are you talking about?"
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, but apparently the current's really strong.
The fucking Thames is on our doorstep.
It's true.
Yeah, but would you end up back on Southend Beach if you
I doubt
start
it.
within 15 minutes?
I can't swim, mate.
So you would die.
Literally straight down from where I fucking hit the bottom. I mean,
This is quite
Passing boat.
yeah, for the danger money, it's going to have to buy me a house, which, you know, in this day and age is about £17 million.
for a small 2-bedroom flat in Southend. Yeah.
We laugh now, but we'll be crying later.
Yeah, I don't know, it'd be a lot, yeah.
It's interesting because, like, you're saying that you did it the other way around, so you've done comedy for years, and then you flipped it and tried a panto, whereas you did it the other way around. You've done a lot of stage work, and then flipped it and did comedy.
Well, then I met Ross, and then I looked at it, and I was like, I went to go see the gig with you and Lee.
Yes, the squeeze, yeah.
Wonderful, I love that place.
It's a great gig as well,
It was awesome.
really nice.
See, I've not been to one of these yet, but I really fancy it a little bit.
You should come down.
Comedy
you definitely
night.
should, yeah.
Well, after Sunday, after training, we'll go down to the Alex,
good,
because it's
because you do the Alex, is it every week?
Yeah, Essex's only weekly comedy nights, first and only.
There you go, little plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. That's going to
throw
happen
that in.
throughout. But stuff going on. I'm very busy, man.
To be fair, there's going to be nothing from plugs, but from now on, just plug.
Speaking of which, you have which I think is quite impressive. You're doing a tour currently, right?
I am one of the tour support acts for Russell Kane's tour, Fast and Curious 2019. It's an absolute dream, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So bigger venues, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they're all theatres. I mean, it's funny. I've done 4 for him now, I think, and 3 of them amazing. One of them, like, you know, you're going up the gears because they're not there to see you at the end of the day. And I think, like, from a comic, like my perspective, I do it for a job, but I'm nowhere near at the level that Russell is. You know, so to play those rooms is rare and it's an absolute treat. But likewise, you sort of feel like you're going to be walking in there to like, and they're walking them, carrying you out on your shoulders after.
Ross.
They don't even care about Russell Kane anymore.
He can't even follow you. He just goes, "Don't worry, mate. Do the now."
Where are you going, sweetie? I've had my fill of comedy for the night. I'm going home. Ross has done it for me. No, just come back.
But yeah, but yeah, obviously the people there, they've paid like 20 odd quid to see Russell. You are literally some prick they've never heard of in their life. So there's an element of like going up the gears a little bit. One of them, it was, I won't say which one it was, but it was a Wednesday night, and it was at a theatre where they get like all the big acts down to the Spoil. Down there, see a lot of comedy. And it's a Wednesday night as well, so the kind of people that you got in a Wednesday night crowd are the ones that we bought our tickets in advance.
It's a well planned out Wednesday.
Exactly. And I walked out, like he's got a big intro. He's great. One of the things Russell does really well is like the production of his show. He thinks a lot about like the intros and the outros because it all makes a massive difference to little things. And so he brings you on a big high energy intro, like drum and bass track playing or something. And I was like, "Good evening, place, are you well?" And about two people went, "Ah."
And at that point, do you think, "Oh fuck"?
Well, a little bit, yeah. You just sort of like, it's not like panic stations. It's just like, you just got to. Obviously, I'm at a level now where I know exactly what I'm going to say when I go out there, and I can read a room and then adapt to cope with it. In the early days, you're just sort of focusing on getting your jokes out. So it's just obviously, it just means it's not going to be as an easier ride as what you'd like. By total contrast, the following night, which was in Clacton, I will say where it was because it was amazing. And like Clacton, obviously a little bit more grateful because they don't get all the big acts down there, and it was like 500 people on a Thursday night. And I walked out, I was like, "Good evening, Clacton, you well?" And it was like, "Wow!" And I'm like absolutely going nuts.
I love this painted view of Clacton. It's like, they don't get much. Like, thank you for the comedy. They're all excited.
He's only said hello and they're like, fucking brilliant.
Acknowledged our existence.
They were just so up for a good night out, and like that's what I feel like it should be all the time. You get it in comedy night at the club sometimes, where particularly in the city, because again, where there's sport for choice. They've all come out, they've all paid a tenner to go in and watch an evening of comedy, and rather than just relax and just let that laugh come out and just, because all jokes have got a rhythm. Like I think we said, I told you that joke in the Peter Pan thing, and you laugh just because that's the rhythm of the joke. You naturally feel like a laugh should be there, and you're comfortable now, and you're laughing because you're a nice person. Some people in these audiences, and they just they just give nothing away, and it's like. I always say, I'll do it. When I'm emcee, I'll always do like one of my better jokes before I bring an actor on. And if you don't get a laugh, I'm like, you need to fucking strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't like that.
If you didn't like that, you're in trouble.
Bought a ticket for this bus, mate. They don't stop for another 2.5 hours.
So how did you get into, because obviously Russell Kane is quite a big name, people know who he is kind of thing. So how did you get to the point where you are now, where obviously you're touring with him?
Well, I mean, it's actually, to tell you how I got that gig really is to start at the beginning pretty much. When I was a kid...
fucking hell.
Sorry.
It's only 20 minutes.
My dad in the 90s, he ran a nightclub in Southend. It was the super popular Churchill's, now Monge 2. And back in the day, it was like that was the place to be. I used to remember dropping him off on Saturday nights when I was little, and not me in the car.
Stay safe,
father. Good night, Dad. But they'd be queuing like all the way around the door to like Marks and Spencer's, which was C&A's back in the day. And he set up a comedy night there on a Monday night, and it was one of like the only alternative comedy clubs outside of London at the time. This is back in comedy's a new rock and roll now, and it's literally in like our generation. In the years I've been on this planet, I've seen it go from like a cult following to everyone watching or knowing and not thinking they've got an opinion on comedy, and which is great, I just got brought up on it. I remember he showed me a Lee Evans video when I was far too young to be watching that level of swearing, and I was just obsessed, and I was just like, that's who I want to be. Like 7 or 8, he used to do his songs in our assemblies at primary school.
Oh yeah.
So when I was fast forward to like senior school, I did business studies. And part of that was this Young Enterprise scheme, which is a nationwide thing where they got business studies students to create a business. It was a real business, you know. You paid like corporation tax and stuff like that, and like everyone was like making candles and selling them at parents' evening and stuff. And with a little bit of an elbow from my dad, we put on I said I'll put on a comedy night.
Nice.
And it was at the New Empire Theatre in Southend.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's
gone now.
ripped down now, which is gutting, really.
Yeah.
It was a great amateur theatre, and like that it was run pretty much by volunteers, the whole thing. And you know, I was 14, 15, renting a 400-seat theatre for like 800 quid or something.
Yeah.
And that night, I had Greg Burns was the compere, who's on Capital Radio and stuff. Mickey Flanagan opened. And,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and Lee Hurst closed, who was the bald guy if they think it's all over.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sold it out like $12.50 a ticket, and so I was like, well, obviously I'm fucking Alan Sugar now, and I left school with a Conor McGregor walk, 6 foot, fuck off.
I'm the fucking king.
Yes. He got his hair cut, didn't he?
Yeah. I can't fight like him though.
Yeah, so when I left school, me and my best mate, Matt Adlington, I basically ended his football career.
Wait, what? Right, this either goes to, he did really successful in one thing, or I just battered him with a baseball bat.
Oh, God, this is so... Like, Matt it was, and still is, I imagine, a good footballer. He was a defender, and he used to play a lot, and he played semi-pro. And when we were young, you know, if he had really hammered it, he probably could have gone pro and earned some money out of it. And we went out for like his 18th birthday party or something to comedian. Do you remember like the thing you used to do where your mate would stand with his leg perfectly straight and you'd dink his knee because we're hilarious?
Yeah.
Well, he was standing at the bar at the club. I've gone up and dinked his knee, and he's just gone to ground. Right? Now, I'm obviously pissed at the time, and I've dislocated my knee before, and when I dislocated it, all I did was straighten it, and it popped back into place. So I'm like, don't worry, Matt, make some room. I've got you, brother. Lifted up his leg, but it wasn't what it was, ligament damage. So I mean, straightening his leg, I've made it worse. And then Dortmund thought we were fighting and threw us both out. And yeah, he like ruptured.
Left his leg on the floor by the bar.
And he ruptured all of his ligaments, and I did feel horrible about it. I would take the piss, but yeah, I felt horrible for it. And he was like in cast for months, and basically, you know, going pro without a lot of physio and shit. Yeah. So we were sitting there in his conservatory, and he was like, I don't know what I'm going to do in my life now. I've only ever thought about doing football. And I was like, well, why don't we set up a comedy club, set up a business together? And that's what we did. Got my dad involved. And we set up one at Dick Devine's when it was Seymour's in Southend, and lost about 12 grand.
Major success story.
Do you know what? It was the bollocks, mate. By the end of it, it was the nuts. But I think we were very naive going into it. Obviously, we were young. My dad knew the industry 10, 15 years previous, like the local, like you've got to know about people's trends and their activities and what people are doing in the town. The venue had a horrendous reputation, and because we were putting in something that wasn't a nightclub night, we thought, well, that don't matter. Yeah. But you're not thinking about the psychology of it. People are just seeing the name of that place and the ticket. I'm like, I'm not paying £8 to go in there. Yeah. So we were paying a lot of money to the comic, but we were getting the very best in the country down. And by the end of there, I mean, Mickey Flanagan done it twice. Russell Kane, literally, this is what's coming to. He literally learned to MC at that gig. Done it like every other week. I saw him do a 10-minute open spot like down the road, and it was just fucking phenomenal. We were like, we're booking that geezer. Omid Jalili, Lee Hurst.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really good.
So you now
not very profitable though.
The glasses.
That's really interesting. So like you've now. It's kind of gone full circle, and now you support him as a comedy act yourself.
Yeah, so sorry. I know it'd be a long story. So no. Tonka car, pull me back, mate. Let me go. Talking about myself here. We'll be here till 6 o'clock in the morning.
You're good.
So obviously I met him at the very beginnings of his career, and between like with that gig and my dad as well. My dad's like pretty renowned in the comedy industry for always looking after comedians, nurturing new talent and stuff, and my dad sort of took him under his wing, and in the comedy industry, particularly when you're climbing the ranks, it's really hard to get decent stage time, you know, because the bigger clubs with the good rooms, they are more picky over who they pick. So you end up left with a lot of open mic gigs where the audience is predominantly other acts, and you don't really get a true reading material. You know, comedy's not, I say this at the gig, it's not like music where you practice till you're good and then you go out in front of a room full of people. The only way you know if you're good is to say it out in front of a room of strangers, and that's the most important thing, is that they don't know you, because you want to get a true read. So my dad let him MC that gig regularly, and he got his first TV work there. I remember when he got signed, and my old man was very much like, when he got signed, he was like, oh, that's fucking it now, we ain't ever going to be able to book you again. And he was like, yeah, you will. And he's like, no, you won't, because obviously my dad's had to deal with all these agents, and they are like that, you know. He used to have them all on the way up, and then they were going, we'll definitely come back and play your gig now, we're famous. And then the agent's like, yeah, you will, but it's 10 grand. And so I think there was definitely an element of, you know, repaying the favour a little bit when I did it the first time round. This was 2 years ago. I supported him for one night at the Cliffs. And now, you know, I'm all right now. I'm pretty half decent. So I think he saw that at a couple of gigs and gave me a
more than half decent, mate. Sorry? More than half decent. Every time I could see it was brilliant with the
I
MC.
need to come and see it, because all I've seen you do is dress up as Captain Hook.
It's not my finest hour, to be honest.
Well, talking from like the perspective of as a comedian, also as an MC, like I think a lot of people don't always necessarily know the differences and the importance of an MC for a gig, because like you were saying before, like an act will come on, you'll throw them like your best laugh, and then get them warmed up, and then it's a nice intro for the act. But being a good MC is really difficult, and watching you on there, like giving the audience, they always warm up and everything, and you can see when like maybe an act goes down a little bit, or doesn't always go so well. You just have to come back on and go, right, energy, back up, and you always do, and you throw it back up. So no, it's very good. And so that's down at you've got a couple of bookings places, don't you?
So locally I run the Alex, which is a free entry, pay what you like comedy night. It's been there 6 years. It was one that I set up when I first started gigging, because it forced me to have a place to regular stage time, forced me to write, and you know, and then I've got the Squeeze in Lee, which is the last Thursday of each month, and that's a relatively new night actually.
Cool.
This will be the fourth or fifth one, but it's a lovely gig.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, like the Alex is brilliant, because that is for newer acts trying it out, and there's a lot of people do their first gigs down there, like Alex, but also a lot of established acts come down, and because it's got a bit of a reputation now for having a really lovely, friendly audience. So bigger, like Russell Kane's actually been down 2 or 3 times pre-tour, trying out things out.
Like getting a feel for it and stuff.
Had Bobby Mayer down there a couple of weeks ago, and
excellent
stuff. So it's a lovely little gig,
well, there's links and things to stuff.
Yeah, we'll share.
We'll put all at the bottom of the video. So click on those.
Should I T-shirt? Should I?
All the time. That's been the first part.
Yeah,
that's been the first part. It goes so quickly. But join us again for part 2.
Part 2. Subscribe, likes, all of that good business.
Look at all the stuff. Click all the buttons. Share all the stuff, please.
And we'll see you in a couple of days' time.
Buckin' around.
Banging.